If you've got a heart to share Jesus, the best place to be is where there's loads of people who have never heard about him. People are actually shocked. They're shocked at the poverty, but I think they're even more shocked at the lack of gospel witness in these communities.
We came from a student church to this, so to move from that quick results to what we're now in is a massive mind shift. So we've had to go, we've got a long game.
Being in something like Medhurst just puts you in touch with people who get the issues that you're facing, understand the need for fundraising, understand the hard issues you'll have in your church, understand that actually a majority of your church may be in those situations.
The areas that suffer the most economically and socially are also the ones that suffer the most spiritually. We want to see existing churches supported and to see areas that have no churches, have healthy churches planted and revitalised there.
We have lots of people who come to us who are quite time intensive, issues around addiction or mental health or whatever it is. And so actually having that kind of context specific training, but also fellowship with other pastors who understand that and are going through some of the same issues, it's really helpful.
One of the greatest things we wanted to help avoid with Medhurst Ministries was that feeling of isolation, and that is why the first thing we started was the Medhurst Family Pastors Retreat.
When we first started in ministry, Medhurst wasn't a thing, and so we sort of landed in this council estate in the middle of the northeast. All our kind of church networks we'd come from were a good distance away.
We want to do all we can to see these pastors, the families and the gospel workers supported and reminded why they're doing what they're doing, and that's because Jesus died for their sins and that they love him and they want to take that message out to these communities that are lacking in the gospel.
The culture on our estate and many estates is it's really matriarchal. Dads, granddads, uncles don't stay around for long. Female gospel workers in this kind of context is a massive need.
Through Medhurst, we have monthly meetings via Zoom, maybe 12, 13 other ministry wives, women's workers, and the sole purpose of that actually is to support one another and encourage one another.
It's more than networking, everything's based relationally. I'm just facilitating a group of people in their context, sharing information and then hearing the voices of other people in those contexts.
I think just having that network there, knowing that I can just text Rachel or text one of the other ladies and ask for their advice. It's just so supportive to know that.
The Medhurst stuff, it's so contextualised to our ministry that we're in. It's just invaluable, really.
Medhurst Ministries has connected different families from across the Medhurst network and invited them to this families retreat this week.
We're doing the children's work, which coincides with the adults' talks too.
It's nice for them to have the opportunity to be with kids, especially if you're the only young person in your church.
Whilst there's many blessings to this type of ministry, there's many burdens, and that's compounded on the children as well.
I haven't got any kids my age at my church.
It's just like nice to have other people to be around and talk to that are going through the same experience as you.
Being around so many different young people, like with the youth group and everything, I find it a lot easier to talk to people my own age about Jesus and grow in my faith.
I think having something where families can come together and be involved in ministry together, that massively helps us. This is like part of what we do now as a family.
Medhurst Ministries Women's Course is a 3-year rolling programme which aims to support and equip women who are part of Medhurst or wider even, to gather them to hear their voices in the context that they are.
Weekly we have little tasks to do, so it might be read a couple of articles that has been set for us or watch a podcast that's been given, and we interact with each other through the Google Classroom.
It's nice to be able to read a book with other women, talk about that, talk about how, oh, that's really been a challenge, that's really, warmed my heart. That's just massively encouraging.
Robust theological training is excellent, but it's often aimed at those who are academically able. And we have a varied range of people, and so we wanted to make it accessible for all people.
We want to provide the resources and the support and the training and the encouragement needed for these gospel workers, pastors, church planters to continue ministering in these towns that everyone else has forgotten but the church.